Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Brother Dewan, it's an honor to be talking with you today. I'm really going to enjoy this conversation. I already know you are doing some very phenomenal and impactful work in our community using your platform known as Hotepish at this time. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good, man. How about yourself?
I'm glad. I can't complain. I'm taking a day at a time. Just taking a day at a time as a black man in this concentration camp known as North America. So I'm good,
man.
And I'm talking to you. And we try to enjoy this while we still can.
Yes, sir. We got to do it while we can.
Yeah, so you tell us a little bit about yourself, like, you know, who is Dewan Brown and what your thing is and how you got involved in this black media thing.
Well, my name is Dewan Brown. I go by Dewan B. My background, I'm a Renaissance man. I do a lot of different things, you know, and they all sort of work together. They all point back to healing people and helping people and making people have a good time and entertaining people, you know. I have a company called Breakthrough Advocacy Services. I advocate for children with special needs to get through the school system, because you know what they do is they what they really do is with the black kids, they throw our kids in non-public schools and say, you know, hey, you know, this person has ADD or whatever, and don't teach them. And then they took the other kids that really need special needs help and put them in mainstream and say, hey, they're fine, you know. And I saw this as an issue working in South Central LA in a mental health agency. So me seeing this as a problem, you know, that's when I turned on to I started listening to you around the same time, and I heard you talking to Dick Gregory, and Dick Gregory talking about all these things, and it was like he was at my job. So that inspired me to open up my own company, you know, helping these kids get through the school system. And so that's where I am on the professional end. I'm also a stand-up comedian, been doing that for about 9 years now, across the country, based out of here in LA. My comedies are all centered towards making people laugh, but dropping game in the middle of it. And I got into stand-up comedy because my ultimate goal was I wanted like a radio-style platform. I wanted something where I could talk to the people daily because I see things and I teach. And I wanted to go from teaching kids one at a time to really dropping game and putting information out there on a mass level because we all can use it. You know what I mean? And so that's what inspired me to start Hotepish. And the reason why I call it Hotepish is really a play because, you know, there's a group of people out there who took the name of Imhotep and call, you know, black people who are into history, into knowledge. They call us Ashy Hoteps or whatever little name they like to give us. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to let them make that name a bad thing. I'm going to take that name and, you know, play on it and make it a good thing, you know, because Imhotep was the greatest multi-genius of all time. Yep. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to call myself, we're going to talk that Hotep, that smart shit. You know what I mean? But I can't say smart shit. So Hotep-ish, you know, talking that smart, intelligent-ish talk, intelligent shit talk, you know what I mean? So that's what it's about. We talking current events. And if we talking current events, we talking solutions, shrouded with comedy, you know? And that's really what we do. And so, yeah, I kind of do all those things, man. I'm a Renaissance man. I'm into a lot of different things.
I mean, it's an honor to hear you talk about yourself. You know yourself very well. You got a lot of knowledge of self, and you're confident in what you're doing. And your work shows that. I mean, you are a true light worker. And comedy, be a comedian, it's hard to make people really laugh, man. I mean, people take comedy for granted, man, because some of the best actors are comedic, and it's hard to make people laugh or to really hit people where they at. So do you see yourself using your comedy as a form of healing for the people, or how do you see your comedy?
Yes, it's definitely healing because like when I was in college, my major was communication studies. I majored in speaking to people. You know what I mean? And comedy's that's the hardest of all the art forms as far as entertaining people. You know, I grew up a drummer. I started playing the drums in church when I was 14. But playing the drums is, you know, a natural thing. You're in the back. You're not really needing anything, you know, overtly. You kind of just get to sit in the back and chill, you know. Comedy, you out front. And people come with the expectation to laugh. And if you don't deliver, they look at you like your dog crap. You know what I mean? So it's that pressure that you have every night. But yeah, I use it to inform because laughter is a bit like, think about it. When you laugh, do you have any other problems in the world while you're laughing during the moments you're laughing?
No, sir.
No. So if I can talk about what's going on in the world and spin it into something funny, you know, that heals the people. Like I have a joke on stage where I talk about you can, no matter what part of the country you go in, you can tell what neighborhood you in based on the shopping centers. You know, you go to the white side of town, it's gonna be coffee shop, bank, you know, health food restaurant, juice bar, coffee shop. You go to the hood, it's gonna be one bank for the whole hood. Somewhere on MLK Boulevard, you're gonna have check cash in place, chicken fried restaurant, check cashing. And they say, what's wrong with the hood? We can't get a house, but we can get a 55% interest loan on our payday. That's like an intro to a deeper joke that I have, but that's where I go with it. I talk about what we see, and and make us think about it, and people laugh at it for a second, and I love the response that I get when I get off stage.
So what inspired you to get on stage 9 years ago?
About 2009, I was down and out. I did mortgage all throughout when I was in college. I worked in the mortgage industry, and that's when the market crashed and everything. And I had to find out who I am. You know, I had to find out what I'm good at, what I love. I said, whatever I do next, I want to make sure I love to do it and it's fun. And whatever gifts that I have, I want to express them. Because I grew up in church, and, you know, you have that parable about the man with the 5 talents, 3 talents, and 1 talent. You know what I mean? And although I don't go to church anymore, I took from that. You know what I mean? I said, I got these talents. I want to use whatever talents I have. You know, and I'm sure my happiness is going to lie within my talents. And so I did an exercise that I now do in my mentoring services, to where I drew 2 circles. I put everything on one side that I really love to do, everything on the other side that I'm really good at. And I started to see where things became common, were in line. And at this time, I had gone 13 months without one single paycheck. I was just surviving off the money that I saved while I was when the mortgage industry was doing good, and my parents helped me out. I had to move back in with my parents and everything like that, or stay with them. And so I kept saying, you know, making people laugh was easy to me. And working with children was easy to me. And I didn't even think about working with children, because that's something that I sort of did on the side. I didn't think I could get a job doing that. And within 3 months of me doing this exercise, I got the job that I had up until yesterday. I got that job working with children just because, you know, I saw that was something that I was good at. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to get on stage, because I've always made people laugh. Making people laugh was always easy to me. And so I got on stage, and then I just went hard from there. And I saw I liked it, and I stayed up there.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I mean, I just think that a lot of people be feeling sorry for themselves at that point. If they lose a job and they move back in with their parents, you be like down and out and can't really be motivated to do anything outside of that. So,
man, you know how I feel to go from a $600,000 house, owning a $600,000 house in Pasadena. Wow. Anybody who knows LA knows Pasadena. It's on the end of the cul-de-sac. You know what I mean? To stand with my parents, you know what I mean? And hell yeah, I was depressed. Not one single paycheck in 13 months. But look, man, we could only stay down for so long. You know, at some point you got to get it in gear. And, you know, and that was around the same time my man Kobe was talking about the Mamba mentality. And I heard that.
Oh, wow.
And I picked up on that. I picked up on that. I was like, you know what? Man, if this dude can go through can we hit game winners, you know, going through your life being sick, it must be something to, you know, what he's talking about with this focus thing. And so I started to just, you know, refocus on my gifts. And I went out there, I said, you know what? I'm going to develop my gifts, like my talents laughing. I don't recommend you unfunny people get on stage, because y'all waste the funny people time. All right?
I'm glad you brought up Kobe Bryant, and I know that's your favorite athlete of all time. I'm correct, right? In saying that?
Oh yeah, Kobe. Yeah, man, I love Kobe. And then when I hear people talk, like when he was alive, and I would hear people talking bad, like saying these stories, like, nah, that ain't true. And so it's cool that the stories that I've been knowing for 10, 15 years now are starting to come out into the public, and people saying the good dude that Kobe really was, not the selfish person that they made him out to be.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because I remember looking at the finals, the last finals that the Lakers were in with the Celtics, and I think it was between. I know, man. I'm just envious, man. Like, you got all these great Kobe stories. I've been looking at your Facebook post, and I was thinking with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, they were having a discussion about Kobe, and they said how it's messed up. How basically, once the media puts something out there on you about you not being a bad teammate, it sticks with you for the rest of your career. Like, although you might find things to the contrary, and people say, he's this and that, but once they put that out there, it sticks to you like Velcro. You can't shake it.
You can't. And it will be crazy because it was like a lot of those stories came out because of the back and forth between he and Shaq when the man was only 20, 21 years old, and Shaq, here in L.A., Shaq had he had the love of the media. So whatever he said was what they were going to write. And he would put things out in the media just and Shaq said it himself in an interview he had with Kobe a couple of years ago on NBA TV. He would just put it out there to keep the news going, you know what I mean, to make it seem like it's something. But people really stuck to it like, he's just this selfish person, and he's this and he's that. And it was just like, like that's like, on one way he's a very focused person, but I admire someone who can say, okay, I'm not going to be around you. I can't party. I can't do these things because I have a job to focus on. We all need people like that in our lives.
Mm-hmm. He definitely was that. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've always been a big Shaq fan. I mean, when he came got to the league and he went to L.A., I really loved Shaq more than Kobe at that time when Shaq was in L.A. But over time, I've grown to respect and even admire Kobe over the years. His technique, his work ethic, like you talk about the mom mentality. But also, I mean, you look at these zodiac signs, and he's a Virgo, right? He was born August 23rd. And I just now figure out that Patrick Mahomes is a Virgo. He's born September 17th. And then you
Michael Jackson.
Kansas City, Michael Jackson and Charlie Parker and Don Washington and Albertino Walker were all born on August 29th. And I'm thinking about, Bird, Charlie Parker, who's celebrating his centennial this year in Kansas City. Got another Virgo, Patrick Mahomes, being celebrated Super Bowl champion. But also got Kobe, and these guys like Charlie Parker was known. I know you're a jazz head. And Charlie Parker was known to practice for 11 to 15 hours a day for 4 years on the saxophone. And Kobe shot 1,500 jump shots, right, on the regular. So these guys do all these things to get to a certain point. You got to be selfish a little bit.
You got to be selfish.
To that level that he got to.
And that was the thing with Kobe. Like, I remember when the Smush Parker, Kwame Brown years, you know what I mean, when that team was just bad. You know what I mean? And one thing Kobe said, he had something called discernment. If he knew you worked hard and you worked on your game, like he and Derek Fisher were really good teammates. He knew Derek Fisher didn't have 1/15 of his skill, but he knew Derek Fisher maximized his ability. So if you look back and go throughout his career, go back to the first championship when they beat when they got through beating the Trailblazers. Game 1, when they needed the game-winning shot, he swung the ball to Ron Harper because Ron Harper had championship pedigree. He swung the ball to Robert Horry. He always, if you go back to the championship against Orlando, who hit the game-winning shot in Game 4 against Orlando? Derek Fisher. Kobe's always been a willing passer to those who are willing to take the shot. When you go to the Smush Parker years and Kwame Brown years, they was looking at him like, man, don't pass me that ball. I'm just gonna mess it up. And he'd be like, fuck it. Would you rather have Kobe shoot or Luke Walton? Lakers fans was like, Kobe, you better shoot that 1-on-5. Don't pass to him.
Yeah. I like to say you made a point about. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brother Warren. Go ahead.
And I just want to make this one point about the work ethic.
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends was an assistant coach of the Lakers during those championship runs, and that's where I heard a lot of these stories firsthand back when I used to coach. Yeah. And when they beat the Orlando Magic, the first thing he did when he got back to L.A. was work out before he went on vacation, 5 a.m.
Wow.
Because he knew next year he was going to have to play against the Celtics. When he lost to the Celtics, when he lost to the Celtics the year before that. First thing he did when he got back to L.A. was work out at 5 a.m. This man used to, every day, we used to get to the gym, have a 5 a.m. workout. Coach would have to be there would get there at 5, and Kobe would already be in the gym doing what he had to do, putting up his jump shots. Go home after that 2-hour workout, take his daughter to school, eat some oatmeal, come back to the practice facility, work on weight training and all those things, go home, pick up his daughter, come back, and then make the 1,500 jump shots a day. I didn't say take 1,500, make 1,500. It was a one-time All-Star weekend. I asked Coach, this All-Star weekend in New Orleans. I'm like, Coach, where's Kobe? I ain't seen him. I used to never see him at All-Star weekend, ever. And he was like, he's not going to come to the party tonight, man. We play against the Celtics on Tuesday, so he's studying film. Wow. This was All-Star weekend. Frankie Beverly and Mays was on stage in New Orleans. He's studying. So that's who he was. You know what I mean? It's really starting to come out right now.
Wow. And you made a great point on one of your Facebook posts about he should have really won way more MVPs, regular season MVPs, just one. He should have won like maybe 3, at least 3 in all. So what are your thoughts about that? Was it connected to like what happened back in 2003 off the court? You think his reputation took a hit with that, allegation? What do you think? Why? Okay, I want to hear your take on that.
It's like, what Neely Fuller says, all sex between black men and white women is rape. And so it didn't matter what the facts were. The fact that he had that Sports Illustrated cover with his face on it saying accused, that's all that matters. This is the age-old trick, when it comes to black men. Throw some on their dirt and throw some dirt on their name. And this is back when the NBA had just had that Malice in the Palace in Detroit. You know what I mean? You got to look at the context of the environment of the NBA at the time. They just had the Malice in the Palace. You know what I mean? Jason Kidd a couple of years before that had a huge domestic violence thing that they tried that they sort of swept under the rug. You know what I mean? Which made him lose the MVP to Tim Duncan that season. So there's a lot of these things going on. And so the NBA was like, they already had Jordan selling the shoes, and here comes LeBron in 2003, the next year. You got this new dude coming in that Nike been putting money in since he was 13. You know what I mean? And so there you have it. It's like, get this dude out the way. Let's not acknowledge what he is, because you even go back in 2000, he was booed in every stadium he went to, for the next 2 or 3 years after that rape case. And the man averaged 36 points a game and didn't win MVP. Wow. And people say, because they were a 6th seed. That team should have been a 15th seed. When you look at who was on the roster, Luke Walton was starting most of that season, man. And he still didn't win. So, it was really – NBA is very political. NBA is a very, very, very – I could talk all day about the NBA because I've had a very, very close relationship with them and how they operate. But that's another conversation. This is a very political thing. Kobe didn't win, and Steve Nash got his 2 affirmative action MVPs, and there you have it.
You said it's funny now they want to make him the logo, supposedly, of the league. This is ironic.
I know that's funny. I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah. Okay. But wait,
I don't think they're going to do it.
Why are you think it's going to happen? Why wouldn't it happen?
Because Jerry West, that's symbolic. I just seriously doubt they have a black logo in the NBA. At the end of the day, we still got to understand the dynamic that it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. We already own it as far as on the court. They're not gonna let us dominate it on the court and off the court. I doubt it.
Jerry West helped give us Kobe Bryant, right? He helped get the Lakers to invest in him, get him from the Charlotte Hornets, and he was like a father figure to Kobe, and he's okay with it, from what I hear.
Oh, Jerry West is definitely okay with it. Jerry West is a cool dude. You know what I mean? Okay. But they're gonna say, Jerry, shut up and go ahead.
They're not paying him Jerry, we got this. They're not even paying him anything for his likeness, which is interesting. But they probably have to pay Kobe's estate if he was going to be the logo, right? I mean,
they probably would, unless Vanessa signed the rights away. But yeah, it would be a great thing if they did. I would love if they did it. I would love it because I think it should happen. Because when you look at the skill set, Kobe had the greatest skill set ever. Michael Jordan was the greatest for his time, and if you want to say he's the greatest player, I ain't gonna argue with you. I don't like to have those arguments. You know what I mean? But
I don't believe so. I don't have religion. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. So whoever you believe in the most is gonna win, like religion. Exactly like you said. But if we're just talking, take the emotion out of it, and talking skill set, who had the most game as far as offense, the ability to pass, dribbling, range, handle, ability to shoot with both hands, footwork, perimeter, and post. Kobe was the most skilled basketball player that we'd ever seen. And that's not me talking. You can ask any NBA player that, and they will agree with me. The media won't, because the media has an agenda to push. But if you ask the players, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, whoever you want, they'll tell you Kobe was the most skilled player ever. So I think he does deserve it. But politically, man, they're not gonna give it to him.
But yeah, like you said, you talk to the players of this current generation, they look at Kobe like Kobe looked at Michael Jordan. I mean, he is their Michael Jordan he is their guy. He's the GOAT for this generation of NBA players.
Look at Kobe's class. Look at Kobe played here in LA. And one thing that does not get highlighted from the NBA, if what is happening in LA right now is happening in Chicago or New York or one of those East Coast cities, it will be a huge news event, but no one talks about it. LA, for the last 10 years, has had the best basketball players. You're talking about James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lonzo Ball, Darren Collison, Drew Holiday, the Lopez brothers at center. I mean, I can keep going down the line of the the high-level players that came out of L.A., and all these cats grew up watching one Kobe Bean Bryant. It's the reason why these guys are the most skilled players in the NBA as far as that have the most offensive games. They're all L.A. players. Look at James Harden. He grew up watching Kobe. And so the reason that is because here in L.A., we saw Kobe had all of the games. So when we went out to the parks, we worked on our mid-range because Kobe had a mid-range. You know, we worked on our three-point because Kobe had that. We worked on our handle and our post work because Kobe, if you were going to do Kobe's moves, you had to dip somewhere, everywhere on the court to emulate his moves. You know what I mean? And people, and one thing one myth I want people to stop saying is he stole his game from Jordan. No. He did take certain particular moves because all players take particular moves from particular people. But he also got his 2-dribble pull-up from Jerry West. Jordan stole from Dr. J. You know what I mean? It's an evolution. And Kobe took what Jordan did and made it better because he had a better handle and more things on top of what Jordan did. Not to say that Jordan couldn't have done that, but when he saw Jordan, he did what Jordan did and did more. You know what I mean? Kobe, people don't understand. He was truly study nature. When it came to his fadeaway jump shot, do you know that Kobe was watching Discovery Channel and he saw the way the cheetah used his tail to balance himself when he's running? And Kobe said, well, maybe my off leg could be used as a tail because I'm not hitting my fadeaway. So I'm going to start using my leg to balance my jump shot. And his percentages shot through the roof on a fadeaway from watching the Discovery Channel. So so when you look at the players who grew up watching him, they now dominate the NBA. So I think Kobe's what he left to the game, we still see out there right now, and we're gonna see for generations to come.
Yeah, he makes us like a mad scientist, man. Like he was brilliant, like evil genius. I mean, because they tried to make him the villain after that incident. They tried to keep the villain, like he said, people were born him. But his haters were his fans. They were his biggest fans.
Yeah.
The haters were his biggest supporters. They loved to see Kobe on his game. And they feel bad when he was on it, when he was off his game. But, you know, when you said that, it's another LA, because you're a jazz guy, man. Another LA kid that I love from jazz history is Eric Dolphy, man. Like, Eric Dolphy was great. And it say that when he was growing up in South LA, I'm going to call it South LA, that he would actually practice his flute and his saxophone with birds. Like, he'll be playing something and the birds would respond to him.
Man,
and he'll
that's
respond
amazing,
back like a call and response. Yeah, his parents said that. People that grew up with him were saying that. And he was just a brilliant, just a brilliant player that died too young at 36. But, yeah, I was thinking about that. That's brilliant how we are as a people that we could do these things and not get the proper credit for it.
and not get the proper credit. Like, we truly are a people of nature, like John Henry Clark said. George Washington Carver talked to the plant, and that's how he came up with the assembly line.
Yep.
Another Kobe. There was a game where Kobe got roasted by Allen Iverson, and Kobe said, "Never again. I'm never gonna let him roast me again." But he noticed AI moved like a shark, so he went to the aquarium and he studied the sharks, and he did all the research he could on sharks and how sharks move. And then by studying the shark, he was able to anticipate how Allen Iverson was going to move. Came back the next time they played, Allen Iverson shut him out the whole second half of the game after studying the shark and learning him. So we truly are people of nature. But I'm glad you brought up the jazz scene, dude, because that's nothing that doesn't get talked about with LA is our jazz scene. We have Charles Mingus, Caprice Rushen, Roy Ayers was born here before he moved back to New York. And we have one right now. Like, LA has a new burgeoning jazz scene right now that's very hot. Kamasi Washington. Are you aware of him?
I heard of him. His reputation precedes him. He's a giant. He's a young giant, a young lion. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a full orchestra, a choir behind him, a DJ, and the band. You have Paris Martin, who's behind Kendrick Lamar and a lot of his hits. You got Thundercat on the bass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Ryan Porter. It's a lot of man. The LA jazz scene is hot right now.
Why do you think jazz is not as popular? Why do you think jazz is really not that popular among young black people? Or is that a misperception?
It's kind of a misnomer because jazz has never been the most popular music. Even when we look back on Coltrane, way more people listening to Motown than these are my favorite things. Let's just tell the truth.
Well, I think back in the 20s and 30s, though, it was the popular music at this time.
Yeah, we had the
30s and the 40s. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Go ahead.
Because it's really when back in the big band era, it did get really popular. But like anything else, black people, we have music, then we own to something else. You know what I mean? And jazz is a very sophisticated sound. Jazz isn't for everybody. It's a highly sophisticated sound. But I will say it's popular because I'll tell you this. My wife and I, we're subscribers to the Hollywood Bowl. We're at the Hollywood Bowl every Wednesday in the summertime when they have their jazz series. We have box seats. And it's a lot of black people. There's a series out here in L.A. called Jazz is Dead. I'm going, we went to see Warriors last year, 3 sold-out shows. They have we're going to go see Lonnie Liston, who was never a huge jazz name popular, but we're going to go see him next week there. And his first show just sold out, and it's going to be a second one. And it'd be anytime Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper was here a couple of weeks ago, and anytime he's out here, his stuff is going to sell out a month in advance. So it's a lot of us who really are into it. You know what I mean? We just don't. It just doesn't get the popular, focus on it like it probably should. I think they want people. I think they don't want people to know how much black people are still into jazz.
You know what I was thinking about? Yeah, I was thinking about what you're saying. Like when it was popular, when it was the main popular music, it was still like dancing music. It was a dance music. People used to love dancing to jazz. But when you talk about the Coltrane and all that, it went different. I guess it went from being just a dancing music to, I guess you had to just think and sit and listen to what they were doing. And I guess a lot of people didn't care for that. But you talk about
a lot of people don't get it.
The greatest musicians at Motown were jazz musicians.
Yep, always.
They made the sound for Motown, like Quincy Jones talked about. Yeah,
all of them are jazz musicians. James Jamerson, all those
great
guys.
bases. Yeah.
And the same thing when it comes to like a lot of our popular music. When you look at the Ohio Players were jazz musicians. A lot of those studio musicians that provide the sound to what we hear that we love, they're jazz musicians first. Robert Glasper, Terrace Martin, To Pimp a Butterfly was probably going to go down as the greatest album of the last decade. To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick.
Yeah, Kendrick's a GOAT, man. He's up in the top 5 now for me.
Yeah, and that whole production that whole production was done by jazz musicians.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So we got to look at at the end of the day, the live instrument, that's our heartbeat. You know what I mean? That's who we are. It's the reason why they don't have the live instrumentation in the music. Because we feel it as black people, man. When you put a drum machine in it, we hear it, we like it, but it ain't got nothing. It don't resonate like a live sound.
Yeah, that's what I love about living in Memphis. One, I mean, there's a lot of problems with Memphis, but the live music scene is amazing. Like, you got to, like, and live music can't, I mean, I love live music. Like, you have an organic response to it, and you connect with it spiritually. But they know what they're doing, man, because you got a father-in-law that was involved heavily in the music business, right? Did a lot of classic albums with icons. But they know how they manipulate our sound, because music does influence your mood. It is a mood influence. So I think about the message music from, like, Curtis Mayfield, the Marvin Gaye's, and all them cats, Teddy Pendergrass, to what we got now. They know exactly what they're doing to us. So is that a conspiracy, or is it just like, people, it's not really true? Do people really believe that?
It's a conspiracy. I think it is a conspiracy, because I remember on your show years and years ago when you were talking to Dick Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Gregory talked about that report that was done by Columbia Records.
Mm-hmm.
And I did some more. Just today, because I have been looking for more information on that. I cannot find it. Just today, I found a book, and I just ordered it on Amazon, so it's going to be here in 2 days, called The Harvard Report by Dr. Logan Westbrook. And it goes, and it has the report in that book. And it was funny when I first heard about it from Dick Gregory. I asked my producer at Motown. I was like, have you heard anything about, them trying to take live instrumentation from music? You were around during that time. What happened? And he was like, no, at Motown, he said he didn't have any direct, issues with that, being at Motown. But he did know of some other producers that were told, if you don't bring in, these synthetic sounds, it's going to be your last project with this company. That did happen a lot. You know what I mean? And then he did tell a story. He said he was working with Lionel in the studio one day. This is probably 1981, 82. He was working with Lionel, and Dick Gregory came down to Motown with this big old file of papers talking about how they trying to kill black music, and he gave it to everybody. But he said when I got it, I never opened it. He said I didn't want them. I didn't want to find out what was in it, just in case it really was something to it. But he did remember one day Dick Gregory did come down to the studio, giving everybody a copy of that report.
And you know what's crazy? You said Dr. Logan Westbrook. I actually met him in L.A. Almost 3 years ago when I went out there a second time. He's actually from Memphis. Dr. Logan Westbrook grew up in South Memphis with Lamar Owen. So I met him. He's like Lucius Lyon type of cat. He said that Lucius Lyon character kind of based on him. So I met him in his offices in L.A. We talked a couple hours. I seen the link to the interview I did with him. But it's funny you mentioned him. But so he's interested. He's one of the first people to really do a study on how to market music to black consumers for the industry. So that Harvard report he did, I could get you their books for free, man. I got a whole bunch of books you want me to pass out to people about this stuff.
Man, I just paid for it. Like, man, I like my books, man. I like to know.
But everything coming forward. That's why I respect what you're doing. You're a real researcher, and your platform is so much needed. And it needs to be more people listening to what you're saying, because we need you right now to reclaim the narrative and to help our people understand this madness that we're in right now, because so many distractions. There's so much stuff out there that's not good for us to eat and consume as people who are thoughtful people. So we need to support people like what you're doing, and I'm glad that you're out there, man, because I really enjoyed your shows. And, it's just needed, man. It's refreshing. As young people, like I'm not that old, but young people like yourself out there. I'm not 40 yet. I'll be 40 soon. But that's how
I'm close to 40.
You know what I'm saying? Huh?
We just getting started.
No, it's not old, but think about like Kobe, man. I gotta act. It go back to Kobe. I'm gonna be honest with you, man, brother. Dewan. When I heard Kobe die, I didn't want to believe it, man. It messed up my Sunday, and because I respected Kobe, and then I just have a problem. People got the right to say what they want to say. But you had 17 years. You had 17 years to ask this man about what happened in Colorado, and nobody had the courage then to ask him. And you gonna wait till he died? And it's like the way he died was like his redemption song for me. Like Marvin, we just had the birthday of Bob Marley, the redemption song. Like our prophets get murdered, but the way he died with his daughter and with them young girls and with them family people, to me that cancel out what may or may not have happened in Colorado for me. Because what he's trying to do for young girls to help them build self-esteem through sports and the things you're trying to do, that counts out whatever people may think about and what happened in 2003, 2004, for me. And I think it's BS that they're bringing up right now of all time.
They always have to try to tarnish our legacies, man. And, you know, that hurt me. Here in L.A., man, it was hard. It still is hard here, man, because when you drive around the city, like when you drive through Inglewood, on the electronic billboards, they're playing his highlight reel, you know.
Wow.
And, you know, and then Rip Kobe. Every bus has Rip Kobe on it. And I was driving down the 101 a couple of days ago, going through Calabasas. And I started in Burbank with a car, in Glendale, where the car with the last footage of the helicopter was shown circling, where someone took with their cell phone footage. And when I was driving under that same area, I just felt it in my heart. You know what I mean? And when I was driving down on 101 near Calabasas, it just felt funny. You know what I mean? Because you know they will. This is my approach when it comes to people who want to bring up his past. As black people, I totally believe we have to claim the narrative and let that be it. One of our biggest issues is we're always following behind other people's narrative. Whenever you allow someone else to set the narrative and you're following, you're always going to lose the rhetorical battle. We have to set it. And the way I framed it on my show and the way I talk about it when I talk to people, I say, look, America has a long history of calling a black man a rapist from white women and us getting publicly lynched and somebody literally lynched for it. You know, and when I combine that with the fact that she had 3 different men's nut juice in her drawers. When I combine that with the fact that, you know, she said, this woman said in her trial, see, people got to go back and look at the trial. She had her own friends coming out testifying against her, saying that she was bragging about Kobe having sex with her and then only changing her story 4 days later when she realized she can get some money. It was her that one of her friends said she was bragging, saying that when she gets this money from Kobe, she's going to buy a koala bear. Go look that up. So when I look at the fact that we had a person that had all these different dudes that she had sex with, she was bragging about having sex with this dude, Kobe, and then she changed her story, and I combined that with the historical knowing of how they lie when it comes to us. I just flat out don't believe her, and I look at Kobe as the victim. He was victimized because he could have been put in jail, and his whole life could have been altered off of a lie, off of an accusation, and we as black people have to be more sensitive to that because that's how Emmett Till got killed. Yeah, and we have a long history of that, so we can't acknowledge them. No, it didn't happen. The prosecutor dropped the case because the prosecutor saw that his witness was lying. If the prosecutor, who has like a 95% record of winning, drops a case, it didn't happen, and I stand on it because it went through court. And I'm not going to even entertain, maybe. No. That was the worst day of that man and that family's life. And he's the victim.
I definitely agree with you on that 100% because Dave Chappelle had a joke around the time. He said if Kobe was guilty, if he had a bad game, because the man had good games, they went to the finals and almost won against Detroit. But I'm saying, like, if he scored below 20 points or 30 points, he's guilty as hell according to people in the public opinion. But he looked at that
the first game back
mentality.
Yeah, the first day of the trial, he had a game against the Denver Nuggets. That first day of that trial, he flew home from Denver and hit the game winner over Carmelo Anthony.
Amazing. Damn.
That was Kobe.
Yeah, but Kobe was amazing, man. He lived such a full life, but I mean, at 41, the things he was involved in. And I got to ask you this: where were you at when you first heard the news about Kobe? Like, where were you at, and what was you doing when you first heard the news?
I was in the bed with my wife, and I generally don't have my cell phone in the bedroom. I keep it in the. I don't bring it in the bedroom, but for some reason I had it in the bedroom this day. And Larry called me, my co-host on Hotep is.
Oh, yeah, I love Larry.
Larry called me and said, Kobe died. And Larry's the same person that called me and let me know Dick Gregory died. So when Larry called me, I'd be ready to fight. So when he called me and said, Kobe died, I was like, first I said, stop lying. I said, you're the motherfucker that told me Dick Gregory died. So and I hung the phone up on him, literally. And I went to TMZ, and I saw it. Like, damn.
Yeah.
And I called him back, and I didn't apologize, but I was mad, like, ugh. And that's how I found out, and it just messed the day up.
It definitely did. On TMZ is I keep on thinking they the government or the CIA or something like that, because how they able to break all the news about Michael Jackson and Kobe down before anybody else without getting some government assistance or something?
I believe they could be. They're definitely out for that, because as far as the information, that part is easy. They have connections within the police department, and also their scanner game is real. You know what I mean? So they pick stuff up at the same time other officers are picking up. So that part they can get without being government. That's just paying somebody within, the different departments to send you some information as soon as it happens. The part that made me think that they government is the fact that nobody ever messes, like, as many times as they mess up, their funding never gets touched. Like, they don't have pop-ups everywhere. Like, most sites now need pop-ups everywhere. They don't have pop-ups everywhere. Their sponsors never get threatened in any kind of sort of way, and they always running. So it's like, okay, what money's really behind you guys? Because the LA Times and everybody else is charging a subscription. You guys are just fine with no pop-ups. That asked me that. I got some questions about that. I got questions about that.
That's good. That's good. That was great observations, though. To be honest with you, all the people, you know what I'm saying, they needed. Your voice is needed in this wilderness that we're trapped in. And I gotta ask you this too, because, like, I'm a conspiracy guy. I gotta ask you think there's any foul play involved? Or you think it was just an accident? It was an unfortunate accident.
I never, like, for me, I think it's an accident, but I never conclusive. Anytime a black person of that magnitude died, I always respect these people, as we should. Black people, we should be the most question-asking people on earth, because the only way to solve problems internally and externally is through asking questions. We should never take their word for anything, So, am I jumping into the conspiracies and what it may be? No, because it's just unfortunate what happened. Even if it was, it's not going to bring the brother back, But at the same time, I do got questions, because it's like, okay, you're the only person that got it. Like, the police helicopters had to stand down, and you didn't. And then you hear these people saying, well, maybe Kobe, I hear white folks saying, well, maybe Kobe used his star power to threaten the helicopter pilot to keep going. Look, these executive helicopter pilots deal with executive people all day. Kobe ain't close to the richest person that these pilots work with on a daily basis. If some of that pilot's customers woke up with Kobe's wealth, they kill themselves. So Kobe's not the most influential person that these pilots work with. So, no, he himself would not have had the authority just because he was a basketball player to go through some weather like that. That had to come from much higher up than Kobe Bryant. And that day it was gloomy. And my thing was this, okay, he was following the 101 freeway, and then they said he went up. But my only question is, a helicopter can go directly up. He doesn't need to circle to go up. It was on the circles when he ran into the mountain and missed it by like 30 feet. Missed clearing it by like 30 feet or something like that. I mean, my only question is, why didn't the helicopter just go straight up? Why did he have to circle? Like, that's weird.
And there's no black box either, from my understanding, which is also kind of like, why is no black box in a helicopter?
Helicopters don't require one by FAA regulations, so I get that. But the whole request, like, being too low, the fact that pilot flies that route almost daily, because the Mamba Academy is in Thousand Oaks, he goes from John Wayne Airport to Thousand Oaks all of the time. So, yes, it may have been foggy, but you still got an instrument right there telling you how high you are off the ground. And you should know when you're coming into Calabasas, the minute you're going down that 101, the minute you cross Topanga, it's a whole mountain range. So even with the fog, my man, why was you so low? I do have a question about that, because this is a familiar flight path.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to have an LA native understand, explain to us, like, what was involved about the terrain. It's good to have that understanding from the ground where you at. But I mean, man, there's things they can do. I remember the investigative journalist Michael Hastings, who exposed General McChrystal in Afghanistan, and Obama fired him over there. I think it was Rolling Stone article he wrote about General McChrystal.
Yes.
Didn't make it to a Netflix movie. Yeah, he ended up like dying in L.A. back in 2013. Yeah, somehow his top level Mercedes, accelerated and crashed and burned. And I know Dick was animated saying it was a drone. Because you can't really see a drone coming sometimes. I mean, they got, the guy who got Soleimani, whatever so-called most important Iranian general. I never heard of him till they killed him type of dude. They said he was gotten by a drone. The CIA chief who ordered his hit, he was hit by a drone, I believe. He got killed not too long ago. But they could do things like even in the 40s, late 40s and 50s, they had a device called a heart attack gun. You can look that up, where you could use sound waves to produce a heart attack in somebody. And it's hard to prove murders, man. Most murders go unsolved. It's hard to prove. So people get away with murder all the time. So what I'm saying with Kobe, man, is like it's just too like a Hollywood movie. Like, LeBron passed you the night before. Your last tweet is congratulate LeBron. LeBron first meet you in your hometown doing an All-Star game. You gave him tennis shoes, and he was the MVP of the All-Star game. He got booed, I think, Philadelphia too. But I'm just saying, it's just too neat.
And Philadelphia is the first place he met LeBron James. They met in Philadelphia, and Kobe gave LeBron a pair of shoes.
The 2001 All-Star game, right? Was the 2001 All-Star game? And Kobe was the MVP of that game, right? He's the hometown hero. They got booed. I think he got booed. But, it's just too perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like too much of scripted stuff going on. I'm not saying that things don't happen like that, but I'm just looking at Dave Stern dies at the beginning of the month. Being at the Hollywood the high school basketball coach that he died. What was his name? Morgan Wooten died before Kobe died. I mean, I'm just looking at all the numbers. I was getting into the numerology crazy stuff I was doing, but numbers ain't lying, but it's just how you interpret those numbers. But I'm just looking at everything going down, him getting involved with the high-tech pharmaceuticals over the trademark for Mamba, Black Mamba. That was January 6th, the last time he had a court thing dealing with them. Then he's dead January 26th. Then the Grammys moving up to the night of his. I mean, it's just like, this stuff is like, I don't know,
synchronicity is weird.
It's on my pay grade, man. I don't understand it, but it don't feel right to me. That's all I know. Then that cartoon, I know you saw that cartoon from The Legend of Chamberlain Heights.
Yes.
What's your thoughts about that then, man? It's like The Simpsons and all this stuff, they be predictive programming stuff.
You know what I was thinking? It's almost an allegorical what's happening with Kobe, because when you look at his career from the rape allegation, because even before the rape allegation, they were saying he's the next Jordan. You know what I mean? You can go back you can go back and watch any finals clip pre-2002. They can't say enough great about Kobe, So it's almost like allegorical, because it's like 2003 that case happens, and basically the rest of his career was sacrificed for the betterment of LeBron James. Think about it. When Kobe
he's a Laker now, right?
When Kobe was at his best, when he was at his top, LeBron James said himself when in an interview, you on a 2-on-1 fast break, it's you and Kobe, who you giving the ball to? He said, I'm giving it to Kobe. It was, if you go back and look at the 2008 Olympic run, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, LeBron, all of them say they learned how to win after they had that Olympic run with Kobe Bryant, because he showed them what it was when he was in China with his work ethic. And you know what I mean? And the players have always given it up to Kobe, but the media, it was always, LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. But this year Dirk's the MVP, even though Kobe's averaging 31 points a game. You know what I mean? And so it's like, no matter what he did, I remember when he scored 81 points. The first thing ESPN said was, well, he didn't have any assists. I'm thinking, hell, if Kwame Brown caught them passes that he gave to me, you'd have had like 4 layups. But so it's like no matter what he did, they always had to cut him. Just 2 weeks before he died, somebody on ESPN had Kobe ranked as the 14th best player of all time. You know what I mean? And so it was almost like the second half of his career, his legacy was sacrificed so they can prop up a LeBron James. And I'm not taking anything away from LeBron James. But when you play with once-in-a-generation players on all 4 of your teams, you should have more than 3 championships. That's all I'm saying to that. But he's great at what he did. But when you play with all them cats, 3, come on now. Kobe won 2 of them with Sasha Vujicic and Luke Walton on the wings, man. Come on. Against the Celtics.
Yeah, okay, man, Kobe, he got to be in at least somebody top 10, not top 5. Even Charles Barkley got him high up in the list for him. And he's Jordan's generation, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but it's interesting with Kobe, like even with Shaq, man, I was confused by Shaq. Like when Shaq did his tearful thing on TNT the days after Kobe got killed, he talked about how Kobe tweeted text his son, whatever. But Shaq said the last time he spoke with Kobe was the retirement game, April 13th, 2016. I said, dang, Shaq, really? Your son speaks to Kobe all the time, dog. You know what I'm saying? But you never talked to Kobe since that time. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what he was saying. I thought that was interesting.
I think really cats has really had their own life, you know. Mm-hmm. And one thing about Kobe, when Kobe reached out like to the kids, like he was just a big brother to anybody when it came to basketball. If you go look at the interview Kyrie Irving said when he hit that game-winning shot, the biggest shot in Cavs history to beat the Warriors, the first thing he did before he drank champagne was he FaceTimed Kobe. And he told Kobe, I did it. I did exactly what you told me to do, and it worked. He called Kobe before he called his own dad. And that's the kind of, like, and Kobe, but remember, Kobe gave, when he won the All-Star Game MVP, Kobe gave the trophy to Shaq to give to Sharif, his son.
Wow,
you know,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that happened. I was there. I was at that game, and I remember being back there while they were snapping all the pictures, and Kobe saying, "Here, take it." And I'm thinking, this is 2008, the year he won the year he won MVP, but everybody's saying he's a bad teammate. During the season, he's a bad teammate, and everyone saw him do that. But did the media report on it and highlight it? No, because we had to go with this narrative. And to me, I think just the biggest lesson for the people, the masses to learn is, and I would tell people this all the time, being very close to that environment, we don't know any of these dudes. So just love them and appreciate them for what they do on the court. They give us inspiration, and whatever inspiration that they give us, let's take that within and apply it to whatever profession that we have as inspiration. We use it and then leave it be. All that, this player's better because he's a good family guy and that player's bad because he's not a good teammate. That's all propaganda, man. We don't know nothing. And this is proof positive. For all these years, we thought Kobe was one thing. Now in death, we saying he's 180 degrees different. So let's leave these narratives alone.
I 100% agree with you on that. I mean, I just think you can find something to be disappointed about anybody because they're human. We're human beings. We got flaws. We got shortcomings. We got vices. I got vices and dark side to me. I know that already. But you should never people on pedals like agree. But they could be the same. Could be possibly said one day about Donald Trump. Could that be the same thing said about him? One day.
About who?
Donald Trump, number 45.
Yeah, because look. We can write an obituary right now saying Donald Trump was honored by the LA City Urban League. He has 3 NAACP awards for his humanity towards black people. Donald Trump took pictures with every hip-hop star known to man. And so we can literally give a truthful obituary to Donald Trump that make it seem like he was really down for black people.
Right. Yeah.
It comes down to framing, and people are like, if you frame somebody in this small little lens, you can make them look anyway.
That's true. And like with John McCain, even like when John McCain died, yes, Stevie Wonder out them singing his praise. I don't know why. We know the truth about John McCain. I'm just saying. Donald Trump told you the truth about John McCain.
John McCain fought Stevie Wonder on the MLK Day thing.
Exactly.
Stevie Wonder had to write a whole song to defeat John McCain to get that Stevie Wonder Day.
Yep. And it was Reagan,
I never liked
Republican president. Reagan has approved the holiday, right? Reagan finally signed into law of all people.
Yep.
Of all people. So that's interesting how politics makes for strange bedfellows. But my thing is, black people, we lose when we get so emotional invested into politics.
Yeah.
Well, we don't see it for what it is.
Politics is business. You can't approach it with an emotional point of view. We have to look at it as an exchange, our vote for something. And then we have to be able to say, okay, we voted for this person and accurately judge. Did they meet what we wanted them to do? Yes or no? When we look back on Obama, we shouldn't talk about well, he's still the first black president. Like, so, but what did he do? Other groups can say, hey, look, I wasn't able to get married before Obama, but now my specific gay group can get married because of this guy. The immigrants can say, hey, look, we got a path to citizenship because this guy that only benefits our group and nobody else. Black people are the only group that can't say, okay, he did something that only benefits our group and nobody else. And then they say, well, he ain't the president of all people. He's just the he's the president of the United States, not just black people. All right, tell white people that, tell Jews that, or tell other groups that vote that about who they vote for, and see how fast their ass get run out of town. If you're not voting for something for your group, there's no point in participating in the process. And I think we as black, I was caught up in the emotionalism of Obama. We all were.
Of course.
I bought the Obama shirt. I donated to his campaign. I donated. I voted for him twice. But one thing I did was I read that Tavis Smiley book when it first came out, Accountable, back in 2008, and it was just talking about holding him, to that. And I saw that, at the end of the day, he didn't we actually lost progress because we actually had a nice Crenshaw Boulevard in 2008. 2016, when he left, Crenshaw's half gentrified. So I have to be able to look back and say, okay, what mistake, where did we go wrong as a group? We put so much energy behind it and we ended with nothing. What can we do so we don't make that mistake again? Well, looking back, we voted for someone without demanding anything, and then we made it okay. We made it okay when we voted for him again, when he clearly told us he's going to do something for everybody but us. And so we have to look at that and say, okay, we can't make that mistake again. And we have to analyze, okay, how are we not going to make that mistake again? How are we going to move forward? And we should be able to do that without emotion. But people can't get past their emotion. Like, okay, yeah, you voted for him. We fucked up. Let's fix it. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the two. Go ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
No, go ahead.
Now, I would say I be talking to brothers and sisters, and out in the streets and stuff like that. We talk about voting, and they keep on saying, well, if you don't vote, it don't matter. Black folks need to vote. I said, we get blamed for everything even when we do vote. So it don't make a difference. We always the boogeyman or boogie women for America. We the problem child symbol for everything wrong with America, even though we're not really the biggest violators of that. And the voting is nothing but a popularity contest. Donald Trump has been a known brand for decades. You vote for not the lesser evil, you vote for the evil that you know. At the end of the day, it's not the lesser evil. It's the evil that you know and you're well acquainted with. Vote for the devil that you know. So Donald Trump will win because his name is recognizable. Yep. It's a recognized brand. And politics, voting is not about the issues. It's about popularity.
Yeah. I call them people, those black folks that say, always talking about, we need to vote, we need to this. I call them people voteps. That's their reason. They voteps. Ain't got no damn reason to vote other than voting. And people always want to talk about what black people ain't doing. Let's talk about what we are doing. We have been the moral basis of this country since its inception. Anything moral that's on the books right now comes out of us fighting for it. And when it comes to voting, we're the only group that votes over 90% for one party. We were 30% of the Democratic voter base. How you gonna talk about what we not? We a whole third or something, and we 13% of the country, but a whole third of a political party, and people want to say we don't vote. Yes, the hell we do vote. We just don't. We just don't know what we're voting for. Like when you read the book Miseducation of the Negro, there's somewhere, I forgot what chapter it was, that Carter G. Woodson talks about how they were talking about putting political science, making that a curriculum in the black schools, and the Congress put that to a halt and say, hell no, we can't teach these black people the political process. It's in our best interest that they don't know the political process. And that's true. We don't understand the process, and we're not so far. We're changing. I want to talk about we are changing. We're getting a lot better as a group, but for the most part, we've been unwilling to admit that we don't know. The first step is saying you don't know. You know how this thing works,
And if any of us just picks up, all we got to do is go to our local junior college in whatever city you're in. If you don't feel like reading it yourself, take a political science 101 class. Take a basic civics class. You don't have to major in it. Just take the introductory course to a civics or a political science class. And let the people who write the laws tell you what this whole thing is about. And then see if we want to change our approach. We don't even know what this whole voting process thing is. And we want to tell everybody else what we need to be doing. Black people, we are great, man. We some good people. We get messed up because we just misinformed. We don't know. And we just got to start knowing things and learning things. And that's why I try to do it by platform. Maybe we always got random topics. Cause I just want to throw all the information out there. We need to know all this shit.
Definitely. I mean, I agree with you 100% because they don't teach civics or social studies really in classrooms no more in America. I mean, when I was coming up at the beginning of my school year, or my school age, they were teaching civics and social studies. They don't teach that no more. In these schools, they teach about same-sex and gay agenda stuff now, especially in California. But I heard that Governor Gavin Newsom just pardoned or exonerated Bayard Rustin, the civil rights icon and LGBTQ icon, for having sex with white men in hotels or motels in California, if I'm not mistaken.
He pardoned him?
Possibly pardoned.
I learned about him through your show when I listened to you and Judge talk about him. That's how I found out who Bayard Rustin was.
Yeah. He's an interesting character. Now he's the new civil rights icon for the LGBTQ, but they just took our blueprint and just ran with it, man. Everybody
and that
takes
shows
black
you how
pain,
bold
suffering,
they are.
and running with it.
When the last person that California executed was Tukey.
Oh, wow.
And Tukey was friends. This thing, but people don't understand. Tukey was boys with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 80s through the weightlifting circuit. They knew each other. And Schwarzenegger still had him killed. After all that he went through.
Well, what Schwarzenegger, people say, he just confessed to the crimes. He wouldn't do it. He said, I did a lot of things. I didn't do those things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He stood on here. I respect that, though. He said, I did a lot of bad things, but I didn't do those things y'all accused me of.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say I did it.
Yep. And people think that, people always say California is so liberal. California is so racist. And people really think that because it looks a certain way on the outside that it is. No, California racism is devious. Oh, it smiles in your face. It even tells you, hey, go smoke that joint. It's now legal. Unless you're 18 and you black. Now we can put a felony on your ass. Where and that's what they do here in California, man. Like it's this place here when it comes to black folk, the criminalization of us here in this state, it's unreal. It's unreal. I was talking, and I'm going to interview one of my cousins pretty soon. I was again listening to one of your shows about you were talking to Judge Joe Brown, and Judge was talking about South LA in the 60s when he went to UCLA. And how peaceful it was. And so I talked to one of my cousins who now lives in San Antonio. He's a retired LAPD officer. And he started working at LAPD in 1967. And you know how he got that job? Because he was applying in the early 60s. And they wouldn't give him the job. But when the Watts riots happened, he said, okay, now they were like, okay, we need some black officers. He said what they did was the white officers, because if you go back and look, in South LA in 1968, there was only one murder. One. Wow. And I asked him about that. I asked my cousin, and he said, well, what they did was all of the officers who worked South LA, they moved them out to the Valley, and all the Valley officers who weren't used to being around black people, they moved down to South LA along with the new black officers. And with these white officers moving down to an area they're not familiar with, they were scared as hell and, didn't really mess with nobody. And so for a couple of years in South LA, in Watts, in South Central, you had a lot of peace because the police weren't going around antagonizing people. And then, the war on drugs started in the early 70s, and we see what happened from there.
Right.
But that 1 year when South LA had black officers and white officers who weren't used to the area, look what happens. Peace in the hood when they're not fucking with us.
Wow, interesting. Well, it goes back to what Malcolm said so many years ago. Like, they got this new Netflix series on Malcolm, but Malcolm said how the most corrupt places in the community are where there's a lot of police. They really are the organized crime people. They run the crime. They control the crime. They are the criminals.
Let's talk about. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about Nipsey Hussle. I grew up. I live right down the street from the Marathon Shop. My whole life has been off Crenshaw. I lived off Crenshaw from Rodeo, now Obama. Now I live off Crenshaw. Now I'm a Crenshaw dude. You know what I mean? And so when Nipsey had that shop, the Marathon Shop, before that it was Sauce and Cheese, the police officers was raiding his shop every 2 to 3 months, man. Like, no one ever carried, like, they knew the best. People are always saying, okay, how did he get shot at his own shop? None of those guys at that shop carried guns because the police was always raiding them. And if anybody had a gun, because of LA's laws, the gang injunction laws, if one person has a gun, everybody in that shop who's a known registered gang member is going to be in violation of their parole and they're going back to prison. So that's why no one had a gun in the shop where he got killed. They were always over there messing with them. I have a friend who painted, who was one of the painters. There's a mural across the street from the shop, and he was painting that mural. And he told me how it was these officers always looking at his shop across the street, but except for the day of the murder. But the week before, it was like an undercover unit, just basically focused on his shop. You know what I mean? But the day he gets killed, they're not there that day. And that's L.A. Because on Crenshaw and Slauson, they're going to build a major train station there for the new line coming through. It was just announced 2 months ago that Danny Bakewell Properties is now selling the other side of Slauson and Crenshaw for $29 million to developers. Why would he be selling it right now for $29 million when he can get $100 million in 3 years for it? You know what I mean?
And we won't live to see the 3 year, right? It made him optically refuse.
Exactly. That's how LA. You look at the owner of Stars, the strip clubs here in Gardena. He was mysteriously killed on a freeway. The owner of M&M's, he was mysteriously killed in his own driveway. It's just a connection between black businesses out here who are in the right positions to do things, and then coming up dead somehow, and the police like, I don't know what happened. It's weird, man. Because I told Larry, my co-host, last year before he died, it was announced last January that he bought that shopping center, and I told my co-host Larry on the I didn't get it recorded on the show. I wish it was on the show. I told him. I told him right before the show. I said we got to watch out for our brother Nipsey, because for him buying that shopping center, I know my city wants that corner. Him buying that shopping center, we got to watch out. Something's going to happen. I just don't want nothing to happen to him with him buying that. 2 months later, he dead. It's just like...
It hit me crazy, too, because I was not a big Nipsey Hussle fan. I was aware of him being, like, Lauren London's baby daddy, that he was a rapper, but, it just hit me weird when I heard the news on that Sunday. Like Kobe thing. It's like, damn, I didn't know this guy like this, though.
Because if you grew up in L.A., if you grew up on Slauson and Overhill, you saw, like, we saw Nipsey selling his CDs, man. Like, you be coming home from the gym. Hey, let me get one of them. I bought his first 3 CDs because I'm more of a jazz guy. I didn't even listen to him. I just would buy him because I would see this brother out there selling. And I would be like, whatever. And he had a good energy about him. And so he was like, we would see him, John Singleton, on just any normal day come through.
John Singleton, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
A lot of folks over there. I've been through a lot. Like you said, I've been through a lot.
We've been through a lot, man. And it's our business class, and it's just, I don't know, that's a whole nother topic we could talk about another time, as far as just business in LA at the LAPD. The LAPD and how they mess with black businesses down here, man. It's a weird thing, man.
I mean, when I think of LA, I always think about the movie LA Confidential. It's like being judged. We talk about it. Yeah, that's how it was. It's just like LA Confidential. It's always been a gangster town, man. Like Chicago and stuff. Like, y'all just got different rules, man. Y'all play different out there.
There was the LAPD is the mafia out here. There was a mafia man that came out from Chicago that got his ass beat and sent back on the Amtrak back to Chicago and said the mafia can't come out here. The LAPD run this town. And if you go down, like if you go back and look at Central Avenue in the 1930s and 40s, he had a great black business district. Central Avenue was destroyed by the LAPD. The LAPD coming in, charging those businesses taxes that they at some point no longer could afford. So we lost all them black businesses, on Central Avenue right around time segregation came because they could no longer afford to run businesses. My grandparents had a hamburger stand on Main Street in 69th, right down the street from where the Crips first started. Well, not where it started, but where Raymond Washington, the first member of Crips, the founder of the Crips, where he got killed, my grandparents had a hamburger stand right down the street from there. And they talk about, how like back then, how like, the LAPD and, you had to, it's something that they didn't like talking about a lot at all. All I know is my grandparents discouraged the fuck out of me from opening a business because of what they went through owning business here in LA back in the 50s and 60s. My grandmother would be like, man, you just go ahead and get yourself a job, man. You don't want to deal with that.
Wow. It was that big.
And then the immigration comes and a lot of people come to this country and they swoop up them businesses that we lost because of economic policy here.
So, we talk about Nipsey, right? They were claiming, in that press conference with the LAPD top brass that they were going to meet with Nipsey Hussle the day after he got killed. What do you think that was about? Was it about, I'm trying to understand, like, what's your take on that? Like, is there something to that in terms of what the actual meeting was going to be about?
This is what I heard. And, I know a lot of people here in LA. I just leave it at that. That meeting was more so about him getting the LAPD off of his back. Like, look, I got a legitimate business here. I now own the shopping center. What can we do to have y'all like leave us alone? From what I heard, that was more of the tone of what the meeting was going to be about. Like,
about business, harassing
about business, like the harassing. They used to get harassed. Like, my favorite barbecue spot in L.A., Woody's, is right next door to the Marathon store, and I'd be there at least once a week. And you would see, I'd be going to Woody's, and you just see all these cops, and zoom, boom, 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 and it'd be random, like, damn, they there again? They was always messing with him. So, like, me being a person, I didn't go to the Marathon store to buy clothes a lot because, really, I only went once because part of the reason why I didn't go was because the LAPD always up in there. I'm like, man, I don't want to be up in there one of the days the LAPD raiding it. So I'll just be like, man, fuck it, I ain't gonna go. And that's how a lot of us would be. Like, man, the police, they were always up in there, so it will make you not want to go because you don't want to be in the middle of none of that. I just want to get a T-shirt.
Wow.
Like it was a fish market in that same shopping center that I liked, but I stopped going to it because it was like, I don't even want to go in there.
It was like disrupting business like that. Wow.
Like, I wouldn't go to that. I stopped going to that fish market. I'm just never been happy. Like, man, I'm so glad they don't share a parking lot with Woody's. Woody's is next door to it. Because it would be like, man, you didn't want to. It would be too much police activity, too many. Because here's the thing about LA.
Okay.
People, when it comes to the whole gang situation, Boys in the Hood was a very, 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 very accurate portrayal of what South Central was like at the time. It's the most accurate. The rest of that stuff is just really, they're doing extras. But if you really want to know what it was like, as a matter of fact, I was a kid riding my bike down to Crenshaw watching them film Boys in the Hood when they was filming it. So it's very accurate. But that LA that was 30 years ago, man. Like, the hood, like when that first housing boom happened in 2001, 2002, a lot of people sold their houses and moved out to Palmdale. Another thing LA did was LA cut off all of the Section 8 vouchers for the city of LA. If you were on Section 8, if you were getting a new voucher, they were pushing you out to Palmdale or the Moreno Valley, which is one is an hour and a half east, the other is an hour north. And they were pushing everyone on Section 8 out of the city. And so a lot of the people in the hood, their housing values are going up really high. They bought the house for $70,000 back in the 90s, early 90s. Now it's worth $350,000. black people were selling their houses and moving to Palmdale. So I said that to say by 2005, a lot of the hood shenanigans that you heard about really died down. Like, the hood really stopped being the hood like that. 04, 05.
Okay.
From there, it's kind of started getting in pockets. Like, one block could be hot, the next block could be like totally quiet with kids playing in the street. It became more pocket. So when we get to 2011, 2012, we come up on that next economic downfall that post 2008.
Yeah.
That basically eviscerated the hood. So a lot of people really moved out then. And, so we talking about 2011, 2012, the hood really ain't the hood like that no more. You know what I mean? So, and so especially the Crenshaw area, you still got pockets, you still got blocks, of course, but the whole area ain't like that. And it ain't quite white yet. It's not white yet. The white people haven't started moving in yet. But what you're getting is, with a higher ticket on the rent, you're getting black people moving in who ain't about that nonsense. And the black people who were about that nonsense, they're now living in Palmdale and Riverside. So that's what happened. So Nipsey gets killed in 2019, but like the hood, it's really not like that no more. People not from LA, they're picturing Boys in the Hood era LA when Nipsey got killed, and it's 180 degrees different by this time. You don't have the hood shenanigans popping off like you used to. So it really is no point of having cops continually raid his shop, because we're dealing with a totally different city than we were dealing with in 1991. Totally different city. And so that's what made everything even be more weird. It's like, hold on. The hood ain't really like that no more. And why is this informant dude, you know what I mean? You got cameras all around. The dude, they knew the license plate, make and model of the car a couple minutes after the shooting. You wait 3 days to give us that? It was just like, this whole picture that they're trying to paint, this is drug infested. No, by the time Nipsey got killed, now you got white folks all up in Crenshaw right now. Ain't nothing like it was back then.
It's coming back to the city because didn't George W. Bush grow up in Compton a little bit? The Bush family, were they living in Compton at one point?
Yep, they lived in Compton at one point.
So they're reclaiming, they're coming back to the city.
They're coming back all to the city.
Yeah.
And here's the funny part about it though. The story that's not being said is the reason why they're coming back to the hood is because the white folks are getting gentrified out their neighborhoods by the Asians. If you look at Marina Del Rey, they now call it Silicon Beach. Marina Del Rey pre-2008 was retirement age, white, and multicultural. I say 70% white, 30% everyone else. Real laid back and relaxed. Now, since Yahoo, Snapchat, and all those tech companies done moved down there, people understand most tech companies are here in L.A. They've priced all them white folks out, and you got all these young Asians up in there in Marina Del Rey, and them white folks are having to move down into Crenshaw. They mad as hell.
Oh, wow.
Same thing down in Orange County. Yeah, white folks getting gentrified there out their neighborhood.
That's why we need shows like, what you doing, Brother DeJuan, you're providing an invaluable service to us, on the outside looking in about the LA culture, about, where you from, and just giving us just a basic history, because a lot of people don't even know. I mean, that a lot of the land that's now LA was owned by black people.
Yeah. Yeah, like Biddy Mason, the godmother of LA, 6th Spring Street. Biddy Mason came here as a slave out of Utah, and then a lot of Mormons moved down to California, trying to do another settlement down here. But California already had outlawed slavery in 1850, and once the slaves found out, Biddy Mason, she was one of them. She left and moved and became a midwife, and then she ended up buying what's now in that Bunker Hill where all those skyscrapers are downtown.
Wow.
That was once owned by a black woman. And we have a long history of ownership right here in LA.
And even Pico, right? The Black Mexican. Pico Street.
Pico.
Yeah.
And the LAX terminal, when you fly in, that space-looking terminal, that was designed by a black man.
Wow.
You know, and
wow.
LA in ownership has a long history. We just get, you know, a lot of times manipulated through policy out of our stuff, and then frozen out. You know, I'm gonna give you an example of how ruthless LA is. When I worked at the bank, That's how I paid my way through college. I worked back at the time it was called Washington Mutual Bank. I was the business banking loan executive. Any business loan that came through went through my desk. At the time, Inglewood was still basically all black. Black businesses up and down Market Street, up and down Manchester. Ask me how many dollars I lent out to black businesses my 2 years as business banking manager. Zero.
Right. Zero. Okay.
Zero. Not a dime. I lent out tens of millions of dollars to businesses in that area. Not one black business got a single dime. And we're in the middle of Inglewood. This is pre-gentrification LA. This is just after the Lakers left the Forum. Inglewood is black. We couldn't find it in our heart at the bank to give the black businesses one dime. One of my clients owned a Wendy's restaurant. If people who are in LA, they drive down Century, they'll see in between Crenshaw and Prairie, there's a shopping center, and you'll see a Chase Bank, a Wendy's, and a Del Taco. Well, I said Wendy's. He owned the Del Taco. He was supposed to get that Del Taco on that plot of land, but the bank that I worked for at the time, Washington Mutual, we were on Manchester and Locust. We said, we want that plot of land. And so they kicked him. The only black business this was a new development at the time, the only black business that new development had, they kicked him off. And he had a Del Taco. Everybody likes Del Taco. They kicked him off for the bank. And he had to sue. And we had a black mayor at the time, Roosevelt Dorn. He had to sue and go through all kinds of changes just to get his Del Taco placed there when other places from all other cultures just to run right on in there and build their business. A black person had to sue to get one plot. And that's a Del Taco. So imagine what a black person who owns a beauty shop got to do.
Yeah.
That's how this city treat us. The business, like my cousin, God rest his soul, was an eye doctor, an optometrist. It took him, Operation Rebuild LA was in 1992 after the riots. They said we want black businesses to rebuild LA. It took him 5 years to finally get an eyeglass shop open on Vermont.
Wow.
5 years. That's the stuff that they do to us, man. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people are like, man, y'all just complaining. Y'all just need to get it together. Like, no, you gotta have finances to fight a city.
Yeah, you gotta have deep pockets. You're right about that. Yeah. I mean, this is crazy though, man. America would not. You know, I was thinking about what you just said. Do you have a business account or type of checking account with you all, the owner of that Del Taco?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. My phone broke up. What did you say?
Do you have like a business account or some type of checking or banking account with you all, the owner of the Del Taco? The owner of the
Del Taco, he ended up not having an account because we didn't have no money for him. He could have. We should have been able to lend him some money, but we didn't have no money for him. But and the only reason why he had come to my desk because he was a neighbor of mine. He lived in my same neighborhood. He lived in New Park.
Yeah, God knows. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, I was saying that I heard stories of black entrepreneurs. They go to the bank that they've been doing business with for decades, try to get a loan. They can't get a loan, but they use your money for investments. The bank does to make money off your money. You know what I'm saying? They but yeah, you can't get no loan from a bank that you've been banking with for decades. To grow your business. I mean, I heard stories of black people tell me about those situations with banks.
They couldn't do it, man. I mean, in the Belizean restaurant got a $20,000 line of credit. The Mexican restaurant, they got a $50,000 line of credit to help their business. The East Indian hat shop down the street, we gave them some money.
Wow!
But the black business that's been on Manchester since the 70s couldn't get a $20,000 line of credit.
A proven moneymaker, right? A proven moneymaker.
Been there since the 70s.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Dang. But I'm glad that you're talking about this because we're not getting this from you're a comedian, but also you're more than just being a comedian. I mean, you're a community organizer. You're a voice of the people. Like we have comedians on these morning shows like Ricky Smiley and D.L. Hughley, who's from there. They're not giving out this information you're giving me right now.
They're not. You know, they have agendas. They have games that they got to play. And I don't want to say too much because sometimes they invite me on their shows.
I understand. I didn't mean to put you in that spot. No,
you don't really put me in a spot. No, you're not because I tell to their face. I don't. You know, I'm kind of one reason why I haven't really gone, you know, on the route that I could have gone in comedy is because people know I tell the truth. And I was told early on in my comedy career, because I'm a big dude, I used to have all these fluffy jokes about being the big guy. I had this one joke that said, don't call me fat. How you going to call me by my obvious defect? Don't nobody call you by your obvious defect. Don't nobody come to you saying, hey, yo, gap tooth man, where's nearest intersection? No one does that to you know, I used to talk about that, and I still do sometimes. And basically the person was like, look, if you want to keep getting these shows and keep getting access, you keep telling them kind of jokes. All that black consciousness and talking about, you know, black people and helping us, you know, that's not going to get you anywhere. And I'd be like, but the crowd is still laughing though. And he basically be like, you know, I don't give a fuck if the crowd laughing or not. Do you want these lips or not? Either tailor your jokes or so. I've had to go the long way in comedy. And that's why I'm building Hotep-ish up because I want to really build that platform up and really get myself out there on my own, you know, circumvent the establishment because the establishment, they don't like they don't like free black people who are unafraid. Judge Joe Brown is 100% on. When they know you come in and you real, you'll get some looks, you know what I mean, based off of like, I do, I'll be on Fox Soul this coming Tuesday. Like, people at Fox call me to do certain things. But that's because the person that books it is somebody who used to book me at the comedy clubs, you know what I mean? So you'll get plugs in certain places where people know you personally and they mess with you. But overall, they don't really like dealing with somebody that, I'm talking about the black comedy club owners and the black agents. They don't like dealing with somebody. I had this one booker that books a very popular show here. If I said his name, everyone in LA would know who he is. But I asked him, I said, why don't you put me on stage? He was like, man, you funny, but I just don't know what you're going to say.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what you mean? He was like, you know, people could be in the crowd and you're liable to say anything. I'm like, yeah, but it's going to be funny. Hey, well, still. No, and I have not done that show.
Well, but you know what? You saying all this, I was thinking about Tommy Davidson. He was doing an interview, I think, on the Breakfast Club about his book. And he talking about how he tried to audition for Saturday Night Live. And Michael Lauren, what's his name, the guy who created Saturday Night Live, told him something to the effect that we don't want you because Eddie Murphy was a mistake. He said Eddie Murphy was a mistake. I was like, really? Eddie Murphy was probably the most iconic person from Saturday Night Live who actually saved the whole thing.
He was a mistake.
Was a mistake?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why it's a mistake.
Well, okay,
same reason.
I'm interested.
And because when it comes to doing the Laugh Factory and the improv, they give us Comedy Store. You get Black Knight, and if it ain't on Black Knight, you gonna get one black comic, and he probably gonna be somebody you see on TV, and then a whole bunch of mediocre white comics. Why is it like that? Because when my black ass comes through, when Eddie Murphy comes through, we got so much talent, we blow the roof off the thing. And the audience don't care. The audience just wants to be entertained. So if they see these black people blowing the roof off this, and you know you can't reach that level, what is that going to do for your job hopes in the future if you keep allowing these talented black people onto the TV? The audience is going to demand to keep seeing them, and you're going to be out of a job.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking. Go ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
No, go ahead.
When you said that, I was thinking about Robin Harris and Bernie Mac. You know, they was like funny as I don't know how, like, it was hilarious. But it took them a hard time to get. I mean, Robin Harris, he died at 36, which is unfortunate. But it took Bernie Mac a while to get on mainstream, to get that TV show. But he was the funniest guy on Original Kings of Comedy to me. That's why he was the closer. But I'm saying it took him a lot of America want to understand how he talked and all this stuff. They'll make all these excuses. You know, he got all the talent.
The thing is, like, and it's funny because Robert Harris is my inspiration. I was a really young kid when he died, and his death really affected me. You know, when he died when I was like, I think 9, but it still affected me because that Bebe's skit,
oh yeah,
there's a bit that he did was so funny. He went to Manual Arts High School with my dad too, and so his comedy, the spot where he did his comedy was in Leimert Park, about 5 minutes from where I grew up. So even as a young child, I would hear, I would hear like the grown people talking. Man, I went down to go see Robin Harris yesterday. Man, he's funny as hell. What Robin Harris brought Hollywood to the hood. Robin Harris is the reason why Def Comedy Jam exists. The whole format of Def Comedy Jam was the comedy act theater that Robin Harris used to host. Wow. And it was Robin Harris that told them, hey, this Cat Martin right here, he the one. You know? And because Eddie Murphy said the same thing about Martin. But the whole format was based off the comedy act theater. And at the Comedy Act Theater, at that time, you had Jamie Foxx, Martin Lawrence, the whole cast of In Living Color was cast out of that Comedy Act Theater. J. Anthony Brown, who used to be on with Tom Joyner, all that's Comedy Act Theater. And what he did was, when Robin Harris went to Hollywood, he went a couple times, and he just wasn't feeling it. And I get it, because me personally, I don't really go to Hollywood much when I'm here because it's just a different environment, you know what I mean? And he was so good, he brought them down to where he was, and he was in the hood. This is back in Boys in the Hood, LA.
The real hood, right? Yeah.
This was, all those stories that you done heard about LA, it happened, and it probably happened right in front of the Comedy Act Theater. For people who want to know what the Comedy Act Theater was, for those who saw A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, if you saw that movie, the Chocolate City, that right there, that was owned by Marla Gibbs at the time.
Oh, wow, Marla Gibbs.
Yeah, and it was that's where the Comedy Act Theater was.
Man, you got so much history here. I mean, Black History Month too. You just dropping everything, man. Wow.
I love my people, man.
And you love the city too out there. LA was a great place to see that.
And I just love knowing things. That's why you and Judge's shows. So and when y'all talk about Memphis, man, I sometimes listen to those twice because I like to know about local stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and one thing when y'all talk about the statue in that park that was bought, and when Judge was talking about the whole the what's going on with the child support system down there and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What you start to see when you hear all these local stories, you start to see, man, all around the world, same song, huh?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
As black folks, I'm so tired of us competing. Well, my hood was worse than yours. Nigga, it was the hood. Doesn't matter. Well, no matter what city you from, if you black, we probably experience the same thing through a different funnel.
That's true. No, you tell the truth right there. And I was thinking about the Nipsey thing. He said the cops were harassing him to that last moment he got popped. It's like the same thing with Malcolm X and Dr. King. They always had police around them. And the day of, there ain't no police around.
That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. And this is coming from somebody who was painting a mural as this happened. He was there as the shooting happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked on his Facebook page, and he said that like about 2 hours after it happened, he was like, man, there's been police over here all week up until today. He said that like 2 hours after it happened on his Facebook page. And then I called him like, for real? And he told me. I was like, man.
So was that a assassination? Was that a state-sponsored assassination? In terms of was the police, you believe, involved or some other entity?
Look, this dude, Shitty Cuz, whatever his name was, we already know he was an informant. Why is he even out? You know what I mean? He worked for them. We have an informant who, I'll just say put things together. We have an informant who parked around the corner in an alley with a car with a clear license plate, with a camera that picked up that license plate, and who had a driver who they knew who she was. She reported herself in, and she wasn't arrested. A high-profile murder, and the getaway driver wasn't even arrested. We got to stop and think about that for it. Like Dick Gregory used to say, we got to stop and think. A driver in a high-profile murder turned herself in, wasn't reported. Car, they knew the make and model and license plate number a few minutes after it happened, but the information wasn't released. until 3 or 4 days later. Don't you think it's important if you know there's been a high-profile murder that if we get this license plate number so we can catch the person because there's somebody out on the loose, shouldn't I know that that car is sitting right in front of me in traffic? You know, then he somehow ends up at a mental health institution, and this has been almost a year. There is no accounting for what happened between the shooting and him ending up at that mental health institution. No word. Does that sound? Does that like? How does that feel to you? You know, and then we all know that the best place to get him. Oh, he was there. He didn't have his security, and even if he did, the best place to get him is his shop because nobody up there can carry a weapon. Because we'll arrest all these motherfuckers if someone has one.
Right.
And we start putting all those things together on the intersection that a train line is being built on right now, that they already have plans for a major train station there. Less than a week after he died, they have signs up saying Nipsey Hussle Square. Well, since when does it take a city 2 days to rename a whole damn intersection? When they start moving that fast? Nipsey, it was the sign put there, Nipsey Hussle Corner, that Saturday after he was murdered, the sign is up. Come on, man. And this is the person that y'all been targeting?
Well, how far
Ram
is the Ram Stadium? They've done a new one. How far is that away from that scene?
About 2.5 miles. But this is the train line. Thing is, Crenshaw and Slauson, that's Black Central right there. They're going right to the heart of the businesses where we are. On this other show that I used to be on, we had the owner of Winston Mortuary. Winston Mortuary is a very famous mortuary on Crenshaw. Has been there forever. And when they were building that line, the mortuary almost got shut down because they took away the street access and driveway access. How are you going to have a funeral without access to the mortuary? You know, and, you know, so it's just that what they right down the street, we have what we call Africa Town over in the Mer Park. The Vision Park Theater, again, right across the street from Comedy Act Theater where Martin Gibbs owned. There's a park. The park is still there. And that's where every Sunday you have the drum circle right there. That's where Black folks get together, sell incense. We commune. That's where your knowledge base is. Your people who are into the information, they right there. And so what did they do before they even started building that line? They put a gate around that park so we couldn't go up in there. Wow. They put a gate around it. And then now they got this big ugly ass gate around it to where it only opens for certain hours. When that park was always open, and that's always where you can find Black people playing the conga drum, listening to some Erykah Badu, burning some incense, and just chilling. Even the little young thugs didn't mess with them. The thugs left them alone, and they went down the street, the Dirty Days. They didn't mess with them over there.
When they stopped putting
just
the
shut
gates
it
up,
down.
what year was that? What year was that when the gate stopped?
That was like they put that gate up right around 2011, 2012. And then here's another thing that they did. The Starbucks. This is another subtle. Here's two more. I'm glad you brought that up there. Two more subtle things this city did targeting Black people. Because Black people are so spread around LA, we have pockets where we kick stuff. We don't have a whole area like we used to, but we have a shopping center here, a park there, a beach here that Black people are known to congregate. One of the most popular Black congregating spots, especially for older and elderly Black men, and the Black business district, was the Starbucks, the first Black-owned Starbucks that Magic opened up in 1998 over in the Ladera Center. That became a haven for Black all through college, because if you're Black in LA, you live in that Ladera, Crenshaw area. When we were in college and we had a study group, where do we go? To that Starbucks. That particular Starbucks, from 6 a.m. to the time it closed, you saw Black men playing chess, playing dominoes, like how we do, congregating and kicking it. Talking shit and swallowing spit. That's what you saw at that Starbucks. And it would just be a beautiful thing to see. And what did they do last year? With no warning, they just shut down a Starbucks. No, nothing. It was the most profitable Starbucks in the country. And they just shut it down. Why? Because that's where the niggas kick it. We got to whiten this area up right here. So the first thing we going to do is shut down this Starbucks. And there's one more move that they made. Here in L.A., you know, it's a Long Beach. Black people have one beach here in L.A., and it's called Doc Waller Beach. Doc Waller is right under LAX. When you fly out of LAX and you fly over the ocean, there's a little beach right there. It's and that's why no one ever wanted to go to that beach, because it's right up under the airport and it's right next to where the LA puts its big old shit factory, where all the shit in LA comes to the processing plant and pushed out. So that was the one beach where people didn't really go to. So we always called that Black Beach. You could park all up and down that street. It was free parking because you could park along the street. And then there were bonfires. And all summer, that's the one place that you knew was going to be majority black. What did they do last summer? They stopped. They said, okay, now mind you, it was 2 lanes on each side, more than enough room for parking. They took off parking on that whole street. So now you got a whole beach there, but now you can't park. So you mean to tell me the only beach in L.A. that gets parking taken away is the beach that black people frequent the most. And then they have it to where, okay, now they have a paid parking that you can go to, but it's limited spots. It's a long-ass beach with one little parking lot way over here. There's a whole other end of the beach that you can't access unless you were allowed to park on the street like you used to be. And now you can't park there. Why? Because that's Black Beach. The only beach in LA that got shut down. This is all in the last 3 years.
Well, where are the local black political leaders on this? I mean, like, are there any black politicians that note in LA that trying to do things to advocate on behalf of the people?
Hell no. We have
politicians in general.
Hell no. We have Mark Ridley Thomas. Let me tell you about Mark Ridley Thomas. Back in 1998, back in 95, Magic Johnson opened up the Magic Johnson Theater over there in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. Brought in black jobs, and it revitalized the area, because before that we hadn't had a theater. They shut down the Baldwin Hills Theater in 1990, so for 5 years we didn't have no movie theater. We had to go away to Marina del Rey, which was about 10 miles west towards the beach, to get to a movie theater, or go back, to downtown. And nobody wanted to go to downtown because it was shitty back then. So we had to go out. So Magic Johnson opened up that theater in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. He put a bid in 1998 to buy the Santa Barbara Plaza. The Santa Barbara Plaza was a shopping center that was right across the street from the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall, on the corner of King and in between King and Marlton. And Magic Johnson was going to buy it, and he was going to revitalize that shopping center and bring jobs to the community. You know who stopped it? Mark Ridley Thomas. Mark Ridley Thomas wanted his name on the shopping center, and so since his name couldn't be on the shopping center, that shopping center went, and that whole plot of land went vacant for the next 20 years. Now that gentrification is happening, Kaiser came right up in there, built a whole little hospital, and you got all kinds of white developments coming in right now. Mark Ridley Thomas is still, and it's coming in with all these white folks building business over there. But when a black man had a chance to develop it 20 years ago, back when I was still in high school and could have used the job, he said no, because he wanted his name on it.
Oh, wow.
And then we have, these people, everybody's on the black and brown thing where, well, let's go black and brown. Meanwhile, the brown people get exclusive benefits that are only for them, while black people got to share what's for us and share our politicians. And our politicians give us the least amount of that.
What about at the national? What about Maxine Waters? I mean, it's like things that happen on her watch. She's been there for a while in terms of representation.
Maxine, she's complicated because, on one hand, she helped Dick Gregory out way back in the day.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you see Auntie Maxine at the Jazz Festival. Outside of that, you don't hear her talking about much. I will salute Karen Bass. Congresswoman Karen Bass, I've gone to a few of her town hall meetings. She seems to really care, and there have been people I know. I haven't met with her personally yet because I'm not her. I was once in her district. I'm not her district anymore, so I can't meet with her personally. I'm not in her district, but I know people who have met with her, and I have gone to some of her town halls when I was in her district. Karen Bass really does seem to care, and I think if we as black people really rallied around her and gave her an agenda, she's someone that we probably can move forward, that can move some of the things that we need, you know. But she's national. But she's national, you know.
Right.
As far as our state officials, I have here in Gardena, I have Stephen Bradford. I tried to meet with this dude. He just seemed weird. I was at the Jazz Festival one day, and it was almost like that movie Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy. You know, because my wife, we kind of caught him in a moment where he didn't think anybody was looking, and I saw him look at his assistant and said, "Motherfucker, I told you need to." And then he saw some constituents walk up, and he cut his cuss words short and put on that fake ass smile. "Hey, how you doing there? Vote for Stephen Bradford." Like, hey, nigga, full of shit. Full of shit.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, man. Oh wow. Why not you ever thought about getting into politics? It's like you were very knowledgeable and got a passion for trying to empower our people and fellow constituents.
Hell no. It requires money. I have the integrity, but as far as race, I have a few friends like my homegirl Dallas Fowler. She was running for city supervisor. She would have been great, but the Democrats didn't want to back her because she would have been great. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
same
here in this city, you got to have deep money if you're not going to get that backing. And if you take that money, you know what that comes with.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
Good deal.
So I'd rather be on the outside, you know, putting pressure on those who are in it versus being in that.
I got to close it out, I guess. I could talk to you all day or listen to you talk all day. You're a very profound young man, and you got a lot to say. And like I said, I really enjoy Hotepish. I wanted to grow and grow and grow and reach more and more of our people because we need alternatives to what I'm hearing. I don't actually listen to a lot of people on YouTube and stuff like that, like a lot of the so-called black people. I can only take so much every day. It's too toxic a lot of times. When we talk we focus on the wrong things. You talk about personal shortcomings instead of keeping your eyes on the prize. So I'd like to know, like, where you see yourself going with this Hotepish platform? Like, what do you want to do?
Well, really, I would like for people to follow it on YouTube at Dwann B, DWANNB, letter B, DWANNB, and then the same on Instagram and Twitter, Dwann B. Because it's on Facebook, Hotepish, HOTEPISH. Follow that page. That's I have it centered right now, but I'm trying to migrate it over to YouTube. My YouTube following is anemic. I'm not good on the YouTube side, but I'm building the YouTube side. So I would love for you guys to follow that on the YouTube side. Really, what I want to do with it, I want one of my kids that I work with. I used to always drop this game to my kids that I work with, and one of them was like, "Man, you need to put this on YouTube because there's a lot of kids my age that need to just hear this stuff." And so, and then I always had an inner desire to do radio and speak. It was just me following, that passion. So what I really want to do is I want to grow this. I want to get the information out there. I want people to listen in because it's information, but I also have some funny stuff. Like this past episode, I had Slink Johnson, who played Black Jesus on a TV show, Black Jesus, and he became an ordained minister live on air. We were talking about how easy it is to become an ordained minister. And so he filled out the application online during the show. So we have funny stuff like that. I have a comedian. I interview comedians and artists and musicians because I love music. So I like to interview artists, and I really just want it to be a place where people can get information and then laugh and and grow that. And then once that gets grown to a certain point, come out to your city and do comedy wherever you are, wherever the people are, and put myself on the road because with being a person like I am that puts out information the way I do, mainstream channels aren't as excited to back me. So I need the backing of the people. So with Hotepish, I want to go directly to the people and grow that and then get it out there.
And we're definitely going to do our part to promote your platform and get the information out to the people. I already know people are going to really enjoy this conversation that we're having. They're going to have to learn more of what this brother's offering. We need to support people like you, like us, doing this work because it's like really unsung because you still do other things. You got a wife, you got other obligations and priorities, but the fact that you take the time out your schedule to make time for your people, to feed your people, and you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it from your heart because you're not getting paid. You're not getting crazy paid like Stephen A. Smith to run your mouth and to do this thing. There's nothing wrong. I'm not hating on Stephen A. I mean, I just think that it's opportunities out there that you got to manifest on your own, and you got to stay true to yourself. I just think that people make their best contributions in any field just by being true to themselves, whether it be Kobe Bryant, whether it be you or anybody, just staying true to who you are and not allowing people to undermine your moral compass. You got to have your own moral code and compass and stay on that code and honor yourself by that. But I got to ask you, I could listen to you all day talk, actually, but
I appreciate that, brother.
Kobe, I want to ask your take on the Gayle King thing with Kobe and all that stuff. What's your take on it?
My take is, like what Neely Fuller always says, you can follow the money. Who does Gayle work for?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And one thing about propaganda, like what Judge said, tell a lie long enough, loud enough, it becomes the truth. Black men are not rapists, but you got to keep the narrative going to keep us as the face of it. So even when we didn't do anything, humans, one thing I always take it back to just nature. We learn through suggestion. Most learning isn't directly taught to us; it's implied, and we start after so many suggestions, we start to come up with our own thoughts. So if every black man that's prominent is attached to a sex scandal, by suggestion, you're going to see black men as these hypersexualized beasts that need to be litigated against, and that's how they outlaw weed and everything else.
Right.
So it was her job to throw that in there, and I think the executives thought, okay, we're going to throw it in there, and it's going to be suggested like we always do, and people are going to get mad for a second, and it's going to get muddied over. The thing is, the people are awakening right now. The people see the pattern. The veil has been unlifted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, even though, and she tried to hide behind world context, well, look, even if I listen to the whole interview, the fact that you brought it up and we haven't even had a funeral lady, like that is so insensitive. And I'm tired of these people saying, they're trying to make it about Snoop for calling her a name, and they're trying to make it about black women. No, people like Gayle, you don't get to hide behind black women because black women are grieving and mad too that you did that. You did that because that's what you were paid to do. If you're being paid to do these type things, your allegiance is with that dollar. You've chosen for yourself to align yourself with that dollar and not black society. Because let's put it on the other foot. You don't see white people, white media people, shitting on the grave of a dead white person that was prominently loved. You don't see that stuff, especially right after. You may have a few documentaries that come out a few years later, but in the moment of grieving, did we hear anything when that girl from Star Wars died a few years ago? They didn't say nothing about drugs or anything like that. When David Bowie died, Carrie Fisher, they don't talk about none of that stuff in the media. They don't say, well, they had perfect example. Robert Douglas, one that just recently died?
Oh, Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas. Yeah, he just recently died. Are you gonna see them interviewing his family and saying, well, is that rape accusation with Natalie Wood as a 15-year-old, does that complicate his history? If they did that, whatever white person that did that, they would get lynched to high heavens. So let's stop talking. People always want to police the behaviors of black people. No, we humans. We grieve. Snoop was his homeboy. He said what he had to say. And if you don't like what he had to say, deal with the cause, not the effect. People forget the law, everything has a cause and effect relationship. We've been trained to go hyper hard at the effect and never question the cause. You know what I mean? We don't even think you still shouldn't have responded that way. No, she shouldn't have asked that. Because there's no way she would have even brought that up if she was interviewing one of Kirk Douglas's actress friends. There's no way that she would have said, well, he had sex with Natalie Wood at 15. Does that complicate your relationship? No. We got to see, I see things to scale. You know what I mean? And it's just and her and Oprah, they have a pattern. Like, black people aren't stupid. We see the pattern of behavior. It's a pattern. She didn't ask about Matt Lauer. Even when Roger Ailes died, they didn't talk about in Fox. They didn't talk about his sexual past.
Yeah.
Did you hear any interview talk about Roger Ailes' sex? And he was fresh off of his sexual assault thing.
Yeah.
He died.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
they
no,
not talking about Hugh Hefner. I mean, they're not talking about Hugh Hefner like that either.
Man, hell no. And
Bill Cosby met a lot of them girls at the Playboy Mansion. Then he died. I mean,
Bill Cosby said on the interview he learned how to about Spanish Fly at the Playboy Mansion.
Right.
And I remember as a kid watching. I remember this old CNN interview with Larry King with Bill Cosby back in the late '80s, and him saying, you get the little thing and you chop it in there, and he was open. So we all knew Bill Cosby would. Come on, just look at what they do. Everybody knew what Bill Cosby was doing. It was above board, and it was with people like Janice Dickinson, who was saying that in her own book that she took that same damn drug to have sex with over 1,000 men. And then look what Oprah does, and when she's crying about Snoop and Gayle and Bill Cosby's tweeting from jail, some kind of friendship, huh?
But
remember when I grew up,
blind it seems. I think Bill Cosby can't even see it. Can't even see his hands on his tweet. He got Braille to tweet. That was his representative,
He got a voice control Twitter from Bill Cosby. Come on.
Okay, baby. But it's like what you said. I'm just like Kobe. To me, this is the way he died. He's a martyr now, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
The way he died, he was crucified. Like you said, his career, he lost MVPs and a lot of things because of the accusation, but he refused to die. He refused to surrender. He refused to go away. He just kept it on, and he built an amazing legacy. And probably while hearing what you're saying and what I've been reading about Kobe, he probably was basketball's greatest ambassador. Ever.
He really was, and they didn't appreciate him, and they didn't appreciate him when he was here. You go to China, and Kobe couldn't walk through China without. LeBron James could do cartwheels through China. No one would give a damn if he was sitting next to Kobe. Kobe would learn your language and speak it. Kobe was a true inspiration. Because I used to always be like, man, people are totally missing it. When you would listen to him talk, because you could tell he was really a reader. He was really into philosophy, and a lot of his philosophies helped me out. In life, I want to apply some of that stuff. I remember when I was in college, I went into college with absolutely no confidence in my abilities because I was dyslexic, but I didn't know I was dyslexic. All I knew is when I would read, I would get stuck on a word for like 20 minutes and not know why. So I had no confidence in my abilities in college. But it was something it was an interview Kobe had done, and he was talking about whatever obstacles you face. He was like, when you're facing the defense, and for me, basketball has always been how I interpret life stuff because basketball has always been my thing. I coach basketball. I done got players to the NBA. I have a long, extensive history in basketball. And so I would relate basketball to life always. And so Kobe was like, no matter what your opponent is, it's your job to be the best that you can be, to find out yourself, find who you are, find your niche, and exploit that and hone in on that. And it doesn't matter what the defense is doing. And I applied that as I was leaving high school and going into college. It doesn't matter what's going on with my teachers. It doesn't matter what's going on. I have to be my best at what I do. I know I'm really good at verbally processing things here, So I got to make sure I'm in every class. I'm focused. I bring my all to it. And because of listening to that word on how to approach situations that seem tough, I use that. And I use that to get me through college. When at the time, I couldn't it would take me 3 hours to read 2 pages because of my dyslexia. And that's what he was. You know what I mean? That's who Kobe was. And everyone missed it because everyone was saying, well, he's not Jordan. Good. I'm glad he's not Jordan. He's not spending his time gambling his money away. He's telling people, he's giving people life game. And, and And the way he went out, I'm just glad to see that the real stories are coming out, so all that selfish talk, that can all get put to rest. Because it's not who he was.
Man, I mean, rest in peace. But I just think that with the Gayle situation now, I mean, even Susan Rice had the nerve to respond against Snoop Dogg, and she threatened him, and she worked for the State Department and stuff. And Hillary, they killed Gaddafi. So I'd be afraid if I was Snoop. They killed Gaddafi. So
You're right. People saying, "Oh, Snoop is backtracking." Look, if you got Susan Rice on your ass, you better make sure you clear it up and say you wasn't killing nobody. So here's my thing with Susan Rice, and this one goes back to our poor leadership. Susan Rice, you was in office. Wasn't she in office when George Zimmerman was walking the street? Yeah, all these black people getting killed in this country. You had Susan. She was in office when Cliven Bundy was locking down Nevada and his son locking down Oregon. She didn't have no smoke for them, but she got smoke for a rapper who called somebody a bitch, who built his whole career off. Snoop got a song called "Bitches Ain't Shit But Hoes and Tricks."
That's right. That's right.
What are you mad at? What are you mad at? Like that was his way of expressing anger and frustration at a fallen friend of his who has a family, and that's how Snoop chose to express his frustration. You know what? If you want to get mad at Gayle for bringing that out, because people are grieving. And don't make it a black woman thing, because Lisa Leslie was on that stage too, and she's a black woman, and she's getting all the love she's getting all the love from us right now. Lisa Leslie probably getting more love now than she ever has while she played from black. She's a black woman. Gayle is somebody who works for CBS.
Right.
Gayle is a troll.
Gayle had the nerve to say that she didn't know what she was talking about. I said, what the? You said because you his friend. And what about Oprah with Harvey Weinstein and John of God and all those people?
Let's play devil's advocate. Okay, let's say you didn't know what you was talking about. Now I really don't trust you as a journalist, because as a journalist, you should be informing yourself before these interviews so you can ask the right questions to get the information that we need. So if you're not doing your due diligence, I really don't trust you, Gayle.
But you said that about Lisa, though. You said that Lisa didn't know because she's too close to Kobe. You know how she said it like a weird, like subversive way.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
she said,
you don't know because you're his friend. How would you know? Like, really?
Well, and you talking about the same person who got pictures with Matt Lauer and Harvey Weinstein.
And Charlie Rose.
And Charlie Rose, co-worker. and think about it. When you go back, when she did address, people saying she did address Charlie Rose, but she addressed him as a victim. What did she say? Well, it's, people have complicated lives. And she framed him as a victim. But she's assuming, but you're saying, well, we don't know when it comes to Kobe. Yes, we do know. We have a long history of a nation that has hell bent on taking down the best of black men over sex allegations. So if a black man doesn't get found guilty, you can guarantee he didn't do a damn thing. If they can take down Jack Johnson and Bill Cosby, they can take down anybody.
Well, even with Sarah Cook, when I get into sisters get into me about Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, I said if Sarah Cook died today, they ruled that justifiable homicide, the coroner inquest back in 64. So they accused him of allegedly kidnapping and trying to rape a prostitute.
Did you see the documentary on Sam Cooke?
Oh yeah, I seen a couple of them. Lady, you shot me in the remastered one. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, and
if he died today, though, he would be known as a rapist and you know what I'm saying, or a kidnapper. That's crazy though. If he died in Me Too standards.
Yeah, if he died today, he would be known as a rapist. But look how he do this. I mean, like I did my Black History profile last week. I did on Ike Turner. Ike Turner was the first ever rock and roll recording was Rocket 88 by Ike Turner.
That's right.
He was the first person to put rock and roll on wax. We got a whole Hall of Fame that's named after the genre he put on wax. But what do we know about him? He beat up Tina Turner. Even Tina Turner said after the movie, allegedly. He said, I remember an interview after the movie came out. They said, she even said the movie focused a little bit too much on that aspect of his life. And so now he's the face, instead of being the face of America's art form, he's the face of domestic violence, and no one ever even asked. And, they always want to put black people as the face of all this stuff, and nobody ever asked why he or black men like that they even do things like that. People never talk about what the black man had to go through when he left his family to go to work every day. You know, the violence he had to deal with, the disrespect, the threat of being killed walking to work just for being on the wrong. People don't understand all these things that go into us that made us the worst of us the way they are. And it's not to make excuses for who they are and what they did, but it's to have some compassion. Instead of always sitting around saying what we do wrong, let's balance it with what we do right. You know what I mean? And the face of everything black, we always associated with what the worst day of their life was. But we still gonna listen to. But we still gonna listen. They still gonna listen to Melissa Etheridge or Adele, whatever white person singing R&B that they like. They still gonna do that.
Yep. You know, it's interesting you brought up Ike Turner. I know Judge talked about Ike, how he was growing up in L.A. And Ike would be out there giving kids a lot of motivation and treating them right. But he also said he remember scenes or he heard of scenes or saw scenes of Tina really attacking Ike, just trying to attack him, beating him on the head with stuff and things of that nature. But not only that, it was interesting when Ike tried to tell his story and when his autobiography was coming out, he couldn't get distribution. Like the powers that be was trying to block him from countering the Disney movie. He signed some papers saying they could use his name or whatever likeness, but he took it back. He didn't know what he was signing. He was getting into with that movie. My understanding with Ike Turner, because Tina's family loved Ike Turner. You see, she kept his last name, but Tina's family had so much respect for Ike because they knew who he was as a person to the day he died. But Ike was the type of dude that he was clean living at one point, whereas he caught you using drugs or whatnot, he'll keep you out the band. But all these white guys in the industry kept on coming to Tina and said, we want to make you a star. You talk to Ike, he controls everything. He the wardrobe, everything. It's all about Ike because Ike made her a star. But then what started happening with Ike, he got hooked on drugs. Now, a lot of people believe that Elvis Presley came from those drugs. But Elvis was a big fan of Ike Turner. That was people don't understand. Ike and Sam Cooke, they from Clarksdale, Mississippi. Clarksdale produced Ike Turner, John Lee Hooker, Sam Cooke. Nate Dogg is from Clarksdale. Smoke weed every day. He's from Clarksdale.
Those are all trailblazers right there.
Yeah, all they from a little tiny town, man. Just not that like an hour drive south of Memphis. Rick Ross the rapper is from Clarksdale, Mississippi. So you got all these folks out that town. Yeah, so Ike Turner, he get this bad rap, man. Like you said, my mom saw him several years ago before he died at this rental car place, and she recognized him, and he was so happy that somebody recognized him. And a lot of times I had a friend who just passed away. He played piano at the Peabody Hotel downtown for like 30 years. And Ike Turner would come by and tell him all these stories. They'll just be hanging out. So I was kind of sad, and maybe it's bipolar. I think he had some mental issues like bipolarism and stuff like that. But, I mean, probably we don't tell our stories, man. If you wait for the white folks to tell, we all devils. We all monsters.
Yeah.
We
all monsters, we all devils, and we ain't done nothing good to contribute to society. Right. Let them tell it.
Yep.
And I always say, whatever black person they point to that's done something really bad, look a little closer under the hood. You're probably going to see something even greater.
That's right. So, man, I ain't going to keep you all day. I'm sorry, but I just really enjoyed this. Tell us how we can contact
I enjoyed this too, man.
You then. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk
Well, y'all can find me. I would love to call in again, man. I told you the first YouTube channel I follow. Them Dick Gregory interviews have changed my life. And same thing with the Judge Joe Brown interviews, man. I love Judge. I love when you talk to Dr. Randy Short. Man, I love your
Dr. Randy Short birthday today.
Happy birthday. Hopefully he listens to this playback. Those are all cats. They inspired me, man. And I got your T-shirts. I love those T-shirts, man. They fit.
I appreciate you buying. I got the pictures of you wearing one of my T-shirts. I got to stop promoting.
Yeah, I wear your T-shirts on stage. Yeah, I got to get that Malcolm X one next. I'm gonna order a couple more because I want to wear them. I want to wear them when I'm on air on my show. I want to wear some of your T-shirts. I really like the way they fit and everything.
I appreciate it, man. I'm a big man myself, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So, but y'all can find me because I'm gonna have my website is still getting built. It should be up any day now. So hopefully by the time the replay comes up, it's up. If not, just keep checking. Hotepish.com. HOTPISH.com. HOTEPISH.com, and also DwanB.com, DWANNB.com. Both of those are going to go to the same website. that's going to have all my T-shirts up and my contact information. Dwann B, DWANN on YouTube, and then on Facebook, Dwann Brown, Hotep Ish on Facebook, and Dwann B on Instagram and Twitter. But DwannB.com should be up pretty soon. That's going to be the central site to where you can find my comedy schedule and everything else coming up when that's finally up and online. So yeah, and then also, like I said, I'm an advocate. I advocate for children with special needs to get through the school system, and I also mentor. My company website. I mentor one-on-one here in the city, and I also mentor remotely. I have one client that's in Alabama, another client that's in Vegas that I mentor remotely over the phone. And that website is breakthroughas.com. Breakthroughas.com.
Wow.
So,
thank you, Brother Dwann, for spending time on this Sunday, blessing us with game and knowledge and good times, good laughs, man. It's food for thought. So I want to thank you and encourage you to keep on walking your walk and talking your talk. In the words of Mr. Skeleton, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Be one.
Peace.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.